You know, sometimes I tend to get lost in real estate, thinking about things maybe on the macro level, like what's going to happen to home prices in the future as a result of interest rates and their effect on the economy, or specifically details about the client's individual transactions. And often on this channel, I'll even get lost in the weeds trying to explain forms to you, the public, that nobody really cares about except for the governing bodies of whose job it is to make those forms. And all of this often leads me to forget the absolutely most basic minor details of my local market here in Surrey, BC, because I take a lot of these things for granted after being born and raised in the city. And that's not helpful to you because most of you watching this channel are doing so in order to learn more about real estate here because, well, maybe you're planning to move here. So today's quick video is going to cover the smallest detail that you should know before you start looking for your first place in Surrey, BC. And of course, if you want more details about buying real estate, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other longer videos explaining other things that are much more important to the transaction. And if you wouldn't mind clicking the like button, it would really help me get this video more exposure. And well, that means a lot. And of course, you can always download my Informed Buyer's Guide using the link in the description below. And with all that out of the way, I can let you in on the smallest little detail in Surrey, BC that you should know in advance of starting your search for homes here. And that little detail that I totally take for granted is that Surrey is built on a 4-block grid system.
What the heck is that?
Well, let me explain. You see, we don't generally use street names here, and we make things a whole lot easier to find where the heck you're going because the city of Surrey uses numbered streets that run north-south and avenues that run east-west. And every 4 streets or avenues is most often a busy street
Or avenue.
And then every 8th street or avenue or so is an even busier street
Or avenue.
So why should you know this? Well, properties on busier streets generally sell for less money because people want to live in peace and quiet. And when I'm working with a buyer that is coming from out of town, they usually send me listings that look really, really good on paper. And the buyer doesn't understand that the reason these units or houses are so affordable in relation to other listings that are available at the time is that, well, they are on a 2 or 4 lane main street, quite often with a stoplight or stop sign just out the front door. So for example, Surrey and North Delta, well, they meet on Scott Road. Well, on the Delta side. But on the Surrey side, that's known as 120th Street. Then 124th is a pretty busy street. In 128th, well, it might as well be a highway in some spots, or maybe a parking lot. And this continues. 132, busy. King George Highway, which is 136th, really busy. 140th, busy. 144, really busy again. 148th, same thing. And 152 is one of the busiest streets in the whole city, running from the Port Mann Bridge in the north to where it turns into Johnson Road in White Rock. Speaking of White Rock, this trend continues in avenues. North Bluff on the White Rock side is 16th Avenue, a 4-lane, very busy road where Surrey starts in the south. 20th Ave, busy, but not super busy. 24th, back to 4 lanes for most of the way. And so on, all the way until you reach 108th Avenue, and after that, the Fraser River. Other things to consider here about the streets in Surrey is that if the property has a back lane in much of the city and the property was subdivided before about the year 2000, there is a very good possibility that it's on a busy street, as Surrey is built on a front access system. And that also results in an absolute maze of cul-de-sacs in some neighborhoods, opposed to something like Vancouver, where almost every property was built on a laneway. The other thing about Surrey streets being named in this manner on the grid system is that it's really easy to tell where you're going just by looking at the address. Because if, for example, you're looking for a property at 15210 104th Avenue, well, it's easy to tell just looking at the address that this property is located just east of 152nd Street on 104th Ave. If you want to get even more precise, remember this simple rhyme. East is even, north is not. Is that even a rhyme?
I think that's alliteration.
I think he's right. So given our example of 15210 104th Avenue, you could already tell that this property would be on the south side of the street. And knowing this small detail about the city makes it one of the easiest cities in the world to navigate through without GPS. And now that you know this tiny little detail about how the streets and addresses work here in my market of Surrey, BC, go ahead to the next step of your research and watch my Google Map tour of the city so you can better start trying to identify and discover which neighborhoods might best fit your needs. Oh yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe.